Hey everybody, so today I just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about some things that cross my mind every once in a while, and I want to tell you basically a good chunk of my story. I'm not gonna say all of it because because I don't want to talk too much about certain things, but basically uh my life when I was really little was simple enough. Um, I was just kind of a normal kid. Everything was normal, really. And at one point, my parents got divorced. I'm not really sure if that affected me in a negative way or not. It might have in some ways that I don't realize. But yeah, basically that's what I think started some things later on, but I don't know. I'm not really entirely sure. And things were still pretty simple after that, I'd say. To me, anyways. I guess I misbehaved in school a little bit, but maybe because of that, but I'm not entirely sure if that's actually the reason or not. And I kind of do remember a little bit of the misbehaving, but I don't remember a lot of it. I do remember school teachers sending me I do remember getting in trouble by the school teachers because I was pretending to be Batman, and for some reason that was against the rules. They said no superheroes allowed, which is kind of a dumb rule if you ask me, but whatever. I eventually later on I did get bullied a little, but it wasn't really that bad, and it wasn't like anything serious. And at the time, I felt like it was the worst thing ever because I was just a little kid. But to be honest with you, I probably could have been friends with those people pretty easily, but I've always just been a really emotional sort of person, and I let my emotions control my actions sometimes. Or I used to let my emotions control my actions. That's not really me anymore. I wouldn't say, anyways. Some people might disagree, but hey, whatever. It's whatever. Um, at but what was I gonna say? Hold on. Let me just kind of think for a second. I did have a best friend in my elementary school that at one point I had to move away from my hometown when I went into middle school, and it was pretty hard on me because I had to leave my best friend, and I really didn't want to have to do that at the time, and it was really tough. But I went into the next middle school I was in, and the bullying kind of got worse, and my emotional state started getting worse because part of the reason why is because before I say this, I should tell you before I left my elementary school, I was an honor roll student. I had great grades. I was in a special ed program, but the special ed program was really nothing more than just getting a little bit extra help from the teachers. Like, there were teachers' aides, and they didn't have those in other classes. In the other classes, they had one teacher, but in the class that I was in, they basically had 3 teachers. They called the other teachers teachers' aides, but there's really no difference between them and just the actual teacher. And I was an honor roll student, so I got really good grades in elementary school. And I'm a pretty smart guy. I struggled a little bit, and I had trouble grasping certain things, but like I said, I was an honor roll student, and I got great grades. But once I moved into my middle school, I ended up I was still in special ed, but the special ed program was just awful in that school. It was like the worst thing ever. Like, basically, I was in 6th grade and they were giving me 2nd grade material. And that was just like, that was the worst, because they were treating me like I was like, I don't know how to say this without sounding mean or anything, but they were basically treating me like I was mentally disabled or handicapped or something like that. And it was really upsetting, because they thought that I had like the mind of like a 7-year-old or something like that, but I was 12 years old, and I really had the mind of a 12-year-old. It's just that I had trouble grasping certain things, and I needed a little bit of help to learn those things, but I wasn't that bad at grasping things. I wasn't so bad that I needed to be jumped back a few grades like that. Yeah, sorry if this is a little bit sad, guys. I've got a point that I'm coming to at the end of this. It might take a second for me to get there, but I do have a point in saying all this. Basically, what was I gonna say? Damn. Forest is nice today. I'll say that much. It's really beautiful out here. By the way, I haven't been on in a while, and that's because I haven't had batteries in a while. But yeah. I'll just skip to where I was gonna go after that. Anyways, but yeah, things kind of kept getting harder from then on out. Once a little bit later into my middle school years, I started noticing some things about certain family members. They were, some of my family members were pretty mean people. And they treated me pretty poorly. And I kept having to go over to their house because there was nowhere else to go when my mother was working. And things just kind of got worse and worse with those family members because I'm not the type of person to back down to those types of people, and I basically rebelled, and those types of people don't like when you rebel, so it got worse for me. And and eventually I came around to being in middle school. The bullying got worse. My home life was slowly deteriorating even more. Did I say middle school? I meant to say high school. I did get out of special ed in high school though, so that might sound like an upside, but the bad thing about that is that I had spent time relearning things that I had already learned years prior, that it became hard for me to pick up on. It became even harder for me to pick up on new things, and it became even harder for me to keep up with all the work that I had to deal with in high school because I wasn't prepared for it. But anyways, like I said, the home life just kept getting worse. Eventually things happened with CPS, Child Protective Services, where I ended up having to move in with my father. And I'm going to skip ahead. A few years. A few years later, I went to Job Corps. And that was actually all right. That was decent. Job Corps was pretty fun. I met a lot of new people, made some friends. But I had some troubles there too that I don't want to go too deeply into. Just a second, guys. I gotta look at my foot real quick. Kind of had a little bit of a painful feeling on my toe. I didn't really know what it was, so I wanted to check it out real quick just to make sure everything was all right on my toe. I walk around barefoot a lot out here. I know that that's not exactly the smartest thing, but it just feels really good for me, and it just makes me feel really in touch with nature, and it feels therapeutic for me, so that's part of why I do it. And also, my shoes back home, or back at my tent, are really wet, so I don't like wearing them. And also, they're really uncomfortable to wear because I was trying to find a pair of shoes that was sturdy enough that they wouldn't fall apart while I was out here. I was actually looking for hiking boots, but Goodwill didn't have hiking boots. And the only shoes that were sturdy that were available were these work shoes. So I got them, and they started causing blisters on my heels and stuff like that. So I figured it would just be easier and more comfortable to go without them. And to be honest with you, it is a lot easier and it is a lot more comfortable. And I am happy that I decided to go without them today because they're really messing up my feet. But anyways, where was I? Oh yeah, Job Corps. I had some troubles with a pretty bad breakup after Job Corps, and I was kind of in a slump for a few months, pretty depressed, having a lot of troubles, similar to the way I was in high school, except it felt a little worse this time. But eventually I met this guy and we were roommates for a little while, but he I was on a walk. Basically one night I was on a walk with him and we went down this alleyway and he just decided to break into somebody's apartment. And I'm not gonna lie, I had a few drinks that night and I was pretty messed up. So I was just kind of standing there as he was breaking into this person's apartment, and I was just standing there even after he had already done it. And I don't know why I just stood there, but I did. And eventually the people in the apartment came out. I avoided one of them. The second one came out. They saw me. I ran. I hid for a little bit. Eventually they found me and they beat me up, gave me a black eye. And a couple days later, the police showed up and took me into questioning, and I ended up in a holding cell, and I had to go to court and stuff, and I got a few charges, and I got fired from my job because of certain things, and that was a huge mess. Eventually I went back and lived with a family member again, a certain family member again, and a little bit later on we became homeless, and for a few months we were kind of just taking care of things, and that family member was taking care of a lot of the things that we're going through, and it was pretty difficult. It was pretty difficult at some points. One point, we decide, but oh wait, I forgot to say, during this point when I was living with this family member, that's when I started to get into meditation, and I started to identify myself as Wiccan, and I started practicing witchcraft. And the meditation was really like helping me with a lot of things. I was still in a pretty rough, I guess I'd say pretty rough mental state. I mean, I was feeling okay, but I was having a rough time with motivation, getting up and doing things. So I just felt so, for a long time, I just felt so like disappointed that I lost everything, that I just couldn't bring myself to try and get up and get a job again. It was difficult. But anyways, the meditation was really helping. I started opening up my chakras, and it felt like, there were times where it felt like pure bliss. Eventually, I decided to try to get deeper into witchcraft, and I heard that you can manifest things into your life with witchcraft, so I decided to try and do that by asking for everything that I had ever wanted. So a day later, right after I had done that, I became homeless. And I didn't really know what was going on, but for some reason, it felt like an adventure to me. It felt like a rush at first. Like I just couldn't stop smiling for some reason, even though I was going through some of the worst times of my life. I just couldn't stop smiling, and everybody would wonder why I couldn't stop smiling. And I would lift off everybody who was around me. Sometimes. But there were times anyways that I would. But things just kept getting crazier in my life. And for some reason, I still wasn't taking the steps I needed to take to get a job. But for some reason, I just had this feeling like I didn't need to. And I didn't know why exactly at the time. I understand now, but that's later on in the story. Hold on, guys. Let me just set this down for a second. I'm really hot, so I'm going to take off my sweater. All right. So, anyways, eventually I reached this point where everything just felt brighter, and I kept deepening my spiritual growth and becoming more and more connected to God throughout the time that this was happening. Everything just felt so bright, even though things seemed pretty bad to some other people. Everything was just so bright, and life just felt bright. But eventually I got to this point in time where things started getting pretty stressful again. I could still keep a smile on my face, but things were hard because we took this lady in that was struggling with some issues with her boyfriend, um, her, basically he was abusive, and we were helping her get away from him, and he would come by every night and honk his horn as loud as he could and yell at us, and sometimes he would start seeming like he was going to get violent, come up to us and, oh man, I got something in my foot. He would come up to us and scream and yell and just do all kinds of crazy things and act like he was going to hurt somebody. And I came out, and one day he was yelling at my family member. I came out, I stood up to him, and I just looked him in the eyes, and he had this expression on his face like he was snarling at me, and his face was contorting and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. The dude was practically drooling, just acting absolutely insane. I've never seen somebody act like that before. Like, this dude was acting like he wasn't even human. And as I was just staring at him, looking him in the eyes, staying silent, and eventually, and he was acting like he was going to come up and try to hurt us, but every time he took a step up, he would have to take a step back again, and he just couldn't physically come up and get to us for some reason. And eventually he just left, and so this kept going on, with this back and forth thing kept going on between me and him for a couple weeks or so. And eventually, the family member that I was with started taking some bad substances, and they started losing their minds. They were stacking stuff on top of each other. I would wake up to them screaming in the middle of the night at the top of their lungs, and they were talking about how they had secret government access to things and stuff like that, and just doing all kinds of crazy stuff. And this was going on for a little while, and eventually I just took the steps that I needed to get out of there. And a little while before that, I had this idea that I wanted to go out and kind of just walk across everything and explore everything I could, because a little ways into my meditation and my spiritual path, I realized that what I really wanted out of life, the thing that I wanted the most, was adventure. I love the idea of adventure, and I want to go out and have fun doing the things that I love every single day. I don't want to do anything aside from that. But anyways, after the whole thing with that family member, I moved in with some other family members. Things were kind of stagnant for a while. I didn't really experience anything spiritual or anything like that for a good long period of time. And I was kind of suppressing myself spiritually because I was afraid to let my true self show around certain people. And so I pretended to be somebody that I wasn't. And that just made me feel really bad. It made me feel even more unmotivated to go out and do things. So eventually, I just decided to get up, go out, and see the world. But I got into a town and I met these people who actually got me a job. And things were pretty good for a while. I was making money. I felt good about it. But then a little while after working where I was working, I just started realizing that things in society were exactly what I thought they were. Like, just working endlessly for the sake of somebody else's dream, trying to just so that you can get by, just basically being a slave to the system and a slave to society. Yeah, by the way, the reason why I'm walking back and forth the way I am is because I couldn't immediately see the rest of the trail, but I just found it. But yeah, anyways, everything in society is just having us work endlessly for the sake of keeping us down, keeping us low, keeping us doing things that we don't actually want to do, keeping us paying taxes and making money for the government. And I started to realize this even more when I started working. And so I made the choice to set out again. And now I'm here. And the truth is that this is the best ending this isn't the end of the story yet, but even if it was, this is the best ending I could possibly hope for so far. Because being out here has just given me such peace and such clarity and such peace of mind, and I've come to so many conclusions that I wouldn't have come to if I hadn't come out here. And my mental health is getting so much better. I still feel sad and stuff like that every once in a while, but everybody does. And I'm starting to realize that that's okay. I don't have to always be happy. I can just be sad sometimes, and that's okay. And I can be at peace with that. And I'm starting to realize so much stuff about myself that I didn't before. I'm starting to realize how strong I actually am. And this place is making me feel even stronger. And soon I'm going to be leaving this. At some point, I'm going to be leaving this area. I don't know when. Because I feel really at peace here. Look at that. There's a snake right there. You guys see that? I don't know what kind of snake that is, but he's staring at me. Maybe I can scare him. Actually, you know what? It's probably better that I just walk around him. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. See that? Look at him. Oh man, this guy is cool. Yeah, he's black. I don't think that he's venomous, but better be careful just in case. I can't remember what cottonmouths look like, but there's cottonmouths around here. So I gotta be really careful when it comes to snakes. There are rattlesnakes too, but this guy definitely isn't a rattlesnake. You're awesome, dude, by the way. I'm glad I saw you, man. You're cool as hell. Look at you. Oh man, he's just all black and stuff, just laying out in the sun, chilling out, having a good time. Hold on, I'm gonna come back and show you guys this guy a little bit more. Alright, I'm gonna get as close as I can. Look at him, he's cool. Like, I could probably catch this guy if I wanted to, but I don't think I'm gonna try. Wait, is he okay? I just wanna... Oh, okay. Yep, I probably shouldn't have done that. Sorry about that, dude. It looks like he's shedding, though. I think that he's just chilling out in the sun. I think he's okay. I just wanted to make sure that he was okay and everything and not dying. I don't know what I would have done if he was dying, but, I feel bad for animals like that. But, anyways, I'm experiencing such peace of mind out here. And this is like my dream life, and I'm so happy to be experiencing it. All I really want is somebody to share it with. That's all I really ask for, to be honest. I don't want anything else aside from that. As long as I have somebody with me, I'm good. I don't know how long I can stay out here without somebody by my side. I could probably deal without somebody. I don't need somebody with me, but I really want somebody with me. But yeah, I'm happy. I'm doing well. So my point in saying all of this is, also another thing I wanted to say is that, I don't blame people for this, but a lot of people tried convincing me not to come out here. And I completely understand why, because I don't have very much knowledge about being out here, to be honest. Like, you could say that I'm very lacking in knowledge when it comes to certain things. And I don't have much knowledge about the area. So it makes sense why people wouldn't want me to come out here and do what I'm doing. But I am surviving. I am doing a good job. But a lot of people didn't want me coming out here. A lot of people tried to convince me not to. But this is what makes me happy. And I don't like to worry people, but if it's a choice between not worrying people and doing the things that I love, doing the things that makes me happy, and following my dreams, and I'm always going to choose following my dreams. And the reason that I wanted to make this video was to tell you guys, don't give up on your dreams. Never stop following your dreams, no matter what. Always do the things that are going to make you happy in life. Always do the things that fill your heart with joy. Don't stop walking towards the light just because the darkness follows closely behind. Use the darkness as the fuel that you need to push yourself forward. Don't give up. Don't stop moving. Don't stop walking. Never give up. No matter what happens, just don't give up. You're going to make it. If it's your will and it's what you want to do and you've got the drive and you've got the heart, then you're going to make it. Just like I did. You can succeed. You can achieve your dreams. You just have to keep walking towards them. And find the inner peace that you need in order to do that. Love you guys. Have a beautiful day and blessed be.